We originally turned to Isilon to solve some problems that we were having with our infrastructure. And the problem that we had is that we had billions of small files, and having LUNs was killing us. And this first part isn't really a virtualization story, but it's a solving a problem story. We kept having to create new LUNs. We kept having to migrate clients between LUNs to deal with the fact that clients were growing too big. And then we hit a wall. We started getting clients that were too big for LUNs. Isilon gave us this really cool thing called 1FS, where we could have all of our files in a single file system and not have to deal with managing the way that our storage was put together. And it made my life much better. I actually got to go home at night and see my family. So our process involves, basically, we archive about 15 terabytes a month worth of email. And for all that mail, we have to parse it, we have to index it, we have to, put parts of it into the database. There's a lot of work that we do against all the email, and then ultimately it ends up on this file system. One of the huge benefits that Isilon brought to us in this process was the ease of expansion of our storage. So we add a 36 terabyte Isilon node about every 2.5 months. And it takes about 30 minutes to, maybe 45 minutes to rack the node and plug it in, and bam, 36 terabytes of additional storage space is now available to us. And at the rate that we're growing our storage, that's super important. I mean, we don't really have to manage the Isilon. It just sort of works. And there's no LUNs, there's no moving of data. Nothing has to be done. About 1.5 years ago, we decided that we were going to virtualize our environment. Not really for server consolidation, but again, more for ease of management. We had gone through a painful upgrade from one generation of servers to another generation of servers. And everybody knows how painful that is to get all your applications installed, and I just didn't want it. So we moved to a Blades environment. We currently have, I think, 20 physical servers, not including our database servers, running 78 or 79 VMs across all those servers. When we decided to go with Blades, we decided that we'd do an experiment. We were having some power issues in the data center. You probably all know what that's like. So our data center had no power, a big problem for about 6 months, which was hard. So we went and we did a lot of math, and we were like, okay, well, if we put in this blade enclosure and we don't put any disks in it, we're going to save a lot of power. So we went with diskless blades, and it was kind of an experiment. Let's see how this works, mounting all of our VMs diskless via NFS on the Isilon, and see if the performance is actually okay. And if it's not, we'll go buy disks and we'll put them in the machines and we'll just deal with the power. And we actually found that our performance was fantastic. Almost to my surprise, because I was a little bit skeptical about running all this across the network. It also meant that the whole LUN issue was simplified. All of our storage was under a single NFS mount, so that all of our nodes can see, or all of our VMs can see the storage. So we have really easy migration from one blade to another. Everything is simplified. You don't have to deal with mapping things. I think VMware has a limitation on how many physical mappings you can make to storage. That's moot, doesn't matter. The other day, I had to load a large amount of data onto something. I needed to create a terabyte partition. No problem, I just made it, because I had 50 terabytes of extra space available on my Isilon. Saved us a lot of money, I think, and complexity in having to implement SAN storage. And the time that we don't spend having to expand disk and do all the things that normally go along with the SAN has really been a lifesaver for us. So we have less than one person managing about 300 terabytes of storage right now, which is really great. And it's not me anymore, I'm really happy to say. It is a phenomenal storage resource, just in terms of the ease of accessing all of your data. No LUNs. I love being done with LUNs. LUNs just drove me crazy. Our database, we're still using a SAN. We need the IOPS there, but I question when we're going to make that transition, and that won't even be necessary. NFS has just been really simple to work with. The scaling out is brilliant, the ability to add nodes. You can also mix nodes, which is really cool, because when we started, we were using their 6 terabyte nodes, and then they came out with 12 terabyte nodes. So we started adding 12 terabyte nodes into our cluster and pulling 6 terabyte nodes out. And all you do basically is you put the 12 in and you say add to cluster, and then you tell the 6 terabyte node, remove yourself from the cluster. And it just takes a little time to migrate all the data off of it. and you're done. You just take the node off. So we migrated all of our 6s out and went to all 12s, and then we added these disk expansion chassis that allowed our 12s to become 24s. That was painless. Now we're putting on the 36s. So you don't obsolete the old hardware. It's not this painful migration where you have to just migrate all your data in one shot. It was a nice, slow, methodical process. Some of this is very technical. It's nice because all the nodes have CPU and they have Ethernet and everything scales really nicely. A node can produce so many IOPS, and because you're load balancing all your transactions across all the nodes, as you add nodes, you're increasing capacity. You're not dealing with a system where your heads have a limited amount of capacity, and that just creates a bottleneck for you. And, oh, I guess we got to questions. Does anybody have any questions? I just covered it all?